Hello everyone, my name is Rahul and today I'll show you how you can make interactive charts in Excel. In this tutorial, I'm going to show you how you can club multiple charts into one by adding radio buttons on your Excel. So what we'll do is we'll start with a blank Excel file and start building our hypothetical sales data. Let's say sales in dollars, target in dollars, percent of target achieved, maybe total number of accounts and total say accounts that ordered and maybe average per account which can be derived from the above data. uh, let's just build some months here from Jan till December, and what I will do is, so let me just use the rand between function to derive my sales numbers. Let's say I take 10 million, between 10 million to 15 million, and let me round this up to 100 place, and let me just copy my sales numbers. I'll just paste it as values so that it doesn't change again and again. As far as target is concerned, let me keep it 12.5 millions as a standard target I have across for all months. Percentage of target achieved would be my sales divided by target, and I can always convert this into a percentage, maybe up to a one decimal place. Let me just do again a total number of accounts. Maybe let me start with 250 accounts. Now what I'm going to do is, let's say minus 5% to plus 5%. So that is the kind of variation I want in my data. And I have to divide it by 100 in order to get the exact number. And let me again round this so that I get the number which I desire. Now you can see there are months wherein I'm adding certain accounts, but I'm also having a few months in between wherein I'm losing certain accounts. Like in March, I lost approximately 3 accounts over February. It could be a possibility that I may have added 10 and lost 13, but that's what the net number of accounts I have for the month of March. And similarly, again, from July to August, there's a dip. August to September, there's a dip. So yeah, so far so good. We have a very random data. And total number of accounts that ordered, again, maybe using the similar kind of a rand between function. Let me say maybe I have 150 accounts who have ordered and same variation of plus minus 5%. And this is how I derive my data. And to make sure that my data is again not uh, changing on its own, I have to just paste them as values. Now, in order to calculate the average per account, what I will simply do is I'll divide my sales with the total number of accounts that ordered. And here you go. Let me just do a quick formatting for the numbers and percentage, and we are good. Okay, so we have the data. Let me just beautify it a bit. I'm just adding a few borders so that looks good. Great. So I have my sales related data, which is ready to be built on the charts. Now, before I start building the chart, what you have to ensure, what I want you to ensure is that you have the developer tab available. In case if you do not have the developer tab, you can click on the file, go to options, and in the under the customize ribbon, you will find a developer tab somewhere here, and you can always add it to the main tabs and click OK. Now, under the developer tab, you have this radio button, which is option button, and list box. You can use either of them to make it interactive. But for the current tutorial, we'll keep it limited to option button. Now, once you have the developer tool, the second thing which you have to do is make a copy of this sheet. You can either add a sheet and copy and paste this data, or you can simply, you know, control and drag the sheet so that it makes a copy. Just rename it to hidden sheet. This is going to be a hidden sheet, which wherein all the calculation and everything is going to be happening to make your chart interactive. Now, in order to make your radio button or option button or for any of the form control work, you have to have a dedicated cell wherein you can have a numerical output which can actually control the entire form. And I know it may sound a little confusing right now, but once I start working on it, it will be very clear to you. Now, on the hidden part, what I will do is I will simply delete the data first because I want to make it interactive and I wanted to call out the data from sheet 1. Let me rename the sheet 1 to sales data. Okay. Now in the hidden, what I will do is let me allocate this A1 cell to the form control. As I said earlier, it may not be very clear to you why am I doing this, but you will eventually get to know why we are dedicating a particular cell for the form control. Now let me just put a value 1 here. It's a random value for now, but this will be something which will be derived using the radio buttons or option buttons. Now to start with, let me say the first chart which I'm making is for maybe sales versus target. Okay, so the first chart, the number one I'm making is for sales versus target. And now what I have to use is I have to pull the value into the sales and target rows from sales data by using a if function. Now what I can do is I can use the if function. If I can freeze A1 and I can manually mention a number 1 there, because when I say that the first chart I'm making is for sales versus target, so I'm just giving it as number 1. And if this cell is 1, then I want to pull sales data. So if it's true, then I want to pull this data. If it's false, then I don't want to pull anything. So I'll just mention any. Okay. Now, since this condition is satisfied, I am pulling the sales data from sheet 1. Similarly, I copy the same formula for target. Okay. Now I know that both sales and target data is being pulled from sheet number 1 the moment I select 1 here. Now for target achieved or percentage achieved, I want to maybe have this row as my chart number 2. Now in order to ensure that this is my chart number 2, I have to change this 1 to number 2 so that the moment my form control or radio button gives this value or changes this value to 2, these values are pulled from the sales data sheet. So what I will do is I'll simply copy the above formula and I'll probably change it to number 2. Now we see till the time it is 1, it is giving me an output like not applicable. But the moment I change this to 2, the first two rows are now not giving me any results, but my row number 4, which is percentage achieved or target percentage achieved, is giving me the desired value. Again, I can change it to the same format which I had in the sheet 1. Um, and similarly, I'll do it for the rest of the 3 rows. Maybe I want to have the next 2 rows in the third chart. So the total number of accounts and the total number of accounts that ordered I want them to be in the same chart. So what I will do is I'll again copy the same formula and probably again change number 2 to number 3 in the formula, so that the moment I change it to number 3, I have the data being pulled from the sales data sheet for these 2 rows. And last but not the least, this is the average order per account, which is going to be my chart number 4. So again, I'll copy this, or probably I'll copy this so that I don't have to do the formatting again. And I'll change the formula to 4 here. Okay. And if I just put number 4 here manually, I see the data which is pertaining to average per account is being pulled from sheet number 1. So far, I'm sorted, wherein the moment I input a value 1 here, it gives me it pulls the data which is relevant for chart number 1. The moment I change it to 2, it pulls the data for chart number 2. The moment I enter 3, it pulls the data for chart number 3. And the moment I input 4, it pulls the data for chart number 4. Now moving on to the chart. Let me have a number 1 first. Let me select the entire table and let me make a chart out of it. I'll move this chart to the dashboard page. Let me resize it a bit. It's a performance chart. Okay. So as of now, since I have only these 2 rows which has the numerical data, it is only showcasing me the bars for those 2 parameters. Now what I can do is to beautify it. I can always build this into the secondary, and let me just change it to line. Since my target is going to be a straight line, I don't want different bars to be shown for every month. Now you can see, since this chart is having other bit of data which is currently not getting captured, and that is one of the reasons why your bars are shifted towards left. So what we can do is we can always format it, and we can have the series overlap and maybe some bit of gap, say 20%. Cool. I can add the data labels. I can change these data labels to a different format. Maybe let me do it a custom. Yeah, millions for 2. Okay. Let me have it in the inside base and change the alignment to vertical and increase the size to maybe 14, and change the color. Now this is how my sales data is looking right now as against the target line. Now again, I can have a data label added here for the target. I can change it to, I can change the format again to maybe um, millions. This is fine. Again, quickly formatting it. Now, since it is going to be same for every month, let me just get rid of all of them barring just one, just to showcase that this is a target I have. And I'll again get rid of the secondary axis. Now my first chart is fine. Now you may be wondering, I haven't added any radio button, and how can I say that my first chart is done? I'm only saying because right now I have a manually entered one here, but we will be controlling this through our form control option button. Now just to make it two, I know the chart will change automatically. Now this is all percentage, which is appearing here, percentage of target achieved. And again, I can have the data label added here. I can do the quick formatting again, wherein I can change the direction of the text. I can bold it and increase it to 14 just to showcase that this is my performance. This is my percentage achieved month on month. Now again, if I manually change it to 3, I have these two set of data which is appearing on my dashboard. It automatically gets aligned. Why? Precisely because of the reason that I have removed the series overlap and the gap width. So if you see here, there's a 100% series overlap, wherein it means that one series is overlapping the other, and there is the gap width is like this is the 20% gap I want between the two bars. Now, if you're okay with the color scheme, I can simply add the data labels and do a quick formatting. I'll add the data labels, the same bit of formatting, wherein I'll increase the size to 14, change it to white, again, changing the alignment and placing it in the base. And for this, I'll just put it at the inside end. Of course, I'll change the alignment, bold this one as well, and change it to 14. There you go. So my chart number 3 is also ready. Now, if I change it to maybe number 4, I'll have the last chart, and maybe let me just keep it again a bar, a simple bar, which is already there. I'll simply add the label, or probably let me change the number to thousands. I'll change it to thousands. And I'll change the formatting again. Done. So I'm done with 4 charts, and all 4 charts are currently built into this one single space. And now it's time for the magic. What you have to do is simply go to the developer options, click on insert, and click on the radio button, and maybe place your radio button somewhere on the chart. You have to rename it to the desired chart you have. So the first chart which we made was sales versus target. So let me just rename it to sales versus target. Now you see that the options button is there on your chart, but it is still not making any changes. Whether you selected or deselected, you cannot deselect it for sure. But this is actually not the sales versus target numbers, which is currently appearing on the chart. It is actually the average per account you have. Now, in order for you to make sure that this particular radio button is changing the value of the cell here, which is A1, you have to input that cell as a form control here. So what you have to do is right click on this, click on format control, and in the cell link, you have to select this cell, and that's it. Now, one very important thing for you to notice, since it is the option button number one, it will always have an output of one on the cell which you have already linked. The moment you add another option button on the chart, you can see that this is an option button 2, and whenever you select this, it will always have a default value of 2, and it will input that default value on the cell which you will be linking through the form control option. Now, since my chart number 2 was say percentage of target achieved, oh, sorry. Now, since your form number 2 was percentage of target achieved, you can always increase the size. And just to check in the format control, it's already linked to the A1, which is great. And now the moment you click this, it will give you the percentage of target achieved chart. Now, if I click back again on sales versus target, this is giving me sales versus target together. Click on 2, it gives me the percentage of target achieved. So far, good. Now I'll add the third option button again next to it. Now this has an output of 3. I'm assuming it will automatically get linked to um, the desired cell. This is my account performance. Okay, I've resized it. Let's try. Yes. Now if you see, account performance is total number of accounts and total number of accounts that ordered. It's pretty much what you want. You can also copy it and paste it and rename it to the desired value it's going to give you. So since it's going to be the average order per account, a little bit of alignment. Here you go. So you can see that simply with a click of a radio button and without changing anything manually here, even if I delete it, the moment I click on any of the radio buttons, it will automatically give that value, which is of 1, 2, 3, or 4, to the cell which is linked here. So the moment I click this, since it was option button 1, it will give the cell, it will change the cell value of A1 to 1. The moment I click here, it will change it to 2, 3, and 4. And just to give a few final touches and to probably align it, all you have to do is select all these 4, go to shape format, and probably align to the middle as well as horizontally distribute them. I hope you like this video. If you do have any questions or want me to cover any particular topic, please do leave a comment and subscribe to my channel. Thank you very much.